Aloha Sprinklerinos, my name is Louise. I make new videos every Monday and Thursday, so do subscribe. And today I'm going to be doing a 2015 recap because my oh my, 2015 was quite the year. You might have noticed the new intro when I say my name's Louise. It's because lots of new people have been coming to the channel lately and I kind of worried that they don't know what's going on. Like, they might just arrive here and think, what's a Sprinklerino and who's she and what's going on. So I'm just trying to be like a little bit more clear for new people. If you're new, write in the comments, hello, I'm new, and then all the oldies will come and welcome you with loving arms. I would like to see hugs in the comments, that would be lovely. I'll get cracking because there's a lot to get cracking on. I mean, that's just 3 months of stuff. So 2015, good and bad year. If someone said just summarise it in a paragraph, I would say 2015 was the year I felt like Glitter World just exploded with like confetti cannons of shiny ticker tape and confetti and glitter and sparkles. Personal world, I felt like just went, oh, my heart hurts. So we'll get going and sort of like break that down a little bit. I thought there was maybe a song for break that down. Break that thing that's gonna break that thing. January 2015, cast your minds back. That is the month that I did my winter lookbook to Too Hot Damn, which Jack shot for me. I would really like to do another Jack flavoured lookbook this year because they are so fun to shoot and, you know, like, does an okay job. It was also the month that I had the most amazing girls' night. I vlogged it in that vlog that was like all bits of my week, and I stayed at my favourite hotel, which is Sanderson, and Zoe came to stay, and there was Cadrific and Arden Rose and Dodie came. Gosh, if I've missed like one girl off, I'm going to feel really mean, but I think it was just us guys. Ugh. And it was a month of a lot of really nice selfies. Like, I nailed it in selfie terms in January, so I hope to get back on my selfie game. And I did a radio show with Jim Chapman when we did the internet takeover for BBC Radio 1, and that was a hoot and a half. February was quite a big month. We were gifted a trip to Disney World, so Darcy, Matt and I flew out to Disney and we had this like amazing 5 or 6 days in the Disney parks, and we had the most amazing tour guide. Shout out to Luke from Guest Services. He's like, if Disney were a human, it would be Luke, because he was great and we really enjoyed that. And then straight after that, so attached onto that trip, I went to Playlist Live in Orlando, which is one of my favourite conventions. I met so many amazing viewers and I did a really nice Q&A, and I met lots of you just out and about. And I would like to give a little shout out to the group of viewers from Playlist, you all know who you are, who helped me find a pair of scissors when I really needed one. Thank you very much, you were quite excellent. And what else? It was my friend Eve from university, it was her 30th birthday, and she wanted it to be fancy dress, and we had to go as English things, and I went as the North Sea, you might remember from my Instagram, and nobody got it essentially. I just looked really stupid and had a lot of green and sparkles on my face, but I really feel like it was an abstract look and it's just a highlight of the year. What else? Oh, also I had a weekend at Zoe's, which was so much fun. My friend Dave Erasmus came and we all just like hung out and went shopping and like danced and was silly, and it was great. And also I cooked with Jamie Oliver, which was pretty cool because I can't cook for absolute buggery and he can cook, so he taught me to cook something, which was really, really fun. March was a big month for me for completion of things. I finished writing my book Life with a Sprinkle of Glitter and I was so late on the deadline. When I finished it, it was a real sense of relief, and for like a good few weeks I would find myself being like, I should be writing, this is so naughty. Then I was like, oh wait, I don't have to write, this is great. Also, I took another trip to Disney World because the one that we were gifted wasn't planned. I didn't know that was happening until like a week before, but this trip to Disney World, which was with my friends Marie and Ryan Bits and Clips, we had booked like a year in advance, so it was like a lovely, lovely, lovely trip. And then when we got home, I don't know why I'm saying all this in the same breath, a downside to the month is that Matt and I announced our separation. I've never really fully addressed this in a main channel video. I would really love it if in 2016 we didn't have to keep talking about it, because it's something that still hurts my heart. So I would love not to keep talking about it, but in case you're new, yes, Matt and I separated, but everything is a lot better now. Matt has moved on. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that if you follow him on social media. You don't have to comment on that. Like, it's not a support to me to be negative to him. Just let him get on with his own life as much as he's letting me get on with my own life, and everything will be lovely. Moving on to spring. April, I've written a great month. Darcy turned 4 and we threw an Elsa themed birthday party for her here at the house, and it was really, really lovely to see her just be so celebrated by all her friends and family. And we had some of her little friends from nursery round, and they like ran wild together, and she got a ton of presents and balloons and cakes, and it was just like a really lovely, lovely celebration. I interviewed Ed Miliband, who was running his campaign to be the Prime Minister of England. Unfortunately, he didn't win, which I like to think is nothing to do with my excellent interviewing skills, where I asked him if his mum was proud of him and such, but the main video for that is on this channel if you want to flick back and see it. I was wearing a very nice dress, I like to think. And in fact, regarding the dress, I've written lots of lovely clothes that month. I really enjoyed my wardrobe that month. Darcy and I had breakfast a ton of times outside on my decking because it was sunny and it was the first time I got to use my decking, so I was really excited for that. I worked on the designs for my clothing range with Simply Be, which was super, super exciting. It's like the most thrilling thing to me to be able to like imagine all these clothes that I want and then sort of like tell someone and then they make them, and then you guys like them as well. I feel like I'm being like, let me make some clothes for you, and you're like, yeah, thanks, that'd be great. And then we're all like, oh, look how swishy we all are. It's pretty great. Also that month I went to New York City, New York, concrete jungle where Louise's dreams are made of, for the YouTube Creator Summit, and it was amazing. Can't even describe how amazing that trip was, but that's by far and above the best thing I've ever been to America for. And to add to that, it was my 30th birthday while we were there, and they brought me out this amazing huge pink cake with sparkles all over it, and everyone sang me happy birthday, and I did magic with David Blaine, and it was freaking incredible and I loved it. And that was the trip where Maddie helped me fall in love a little bit with New York, because before then I'd been like quite intimidated and afraid of it, but that trip I really thought, oh, I do like you, New York, you good egg, you good apple, you big apple, you big fat apple, you large city. By May I decided to fly Darcy and I out to Seattle to spend some more time with Marie Bits and Clips. I was feeling a little bit like, although I'd really enjoyed April, I was feeling a bit bruised from the split and all of like my new lifestyle, so I decided to go out there for a week of R&R. Seattle really is my happy place. If ever I go missing, look in Seattle, because that is where I will be, probably nestled somewhere in Marie's house with a bagel and a blanket, and being like loved on by her. I just needed just a week away, just to get away from everything and try not to think about everything. And also Marie was going through some even harder, huge life changes in her lifestyle, so I wanted to go out there and give her like a personal cuddle from me. So that was a really nice trip, but it was also the most beautiful thing about that trip was seeing Darcy and Scarlett interact. Scarlett's Marie's daughter, and she's, I think, about 6 to 8 weeks older than Darcy, so they're so close in age, and it was just so lovely to see them playing and bonding and just being little girls being lovely. When I got back from Seattle, I attended the premiere of San Andreas, which has The Rock in it, and it's about a big earthquake, and I went with my lovely friend Kate, who I have been a terrible friend to this year and not replied to nearly enough messages, so if you're watching, Kate, I'm very sorry. The premiere was great, and I was sitting in there watching the film, and all of a sudden I started having the most terrible tooth pains. Fast forward 4 days later and I'm having emergency surgery on my mouth to have an infected wisdom tooth removed, and it was awful, and I've never experienced so much pain. I've had teeth out before, but that was incredible. And what made it all the worse was I was just adjusting to living on my own, and all of a sudden I was very, very unwell and alone, and I would say that was like a real low moment of the year was like spending it like over there in my bed, just being in such pain and feeling really sad and feeling like nobody could come and look after me. It's hard being ill, but it's harder being ill on your own, and that's when I was like, wow, I am alone and this is going to be tough. But I recovered and I started to feel better, and I took a little bit of time off work in May, just being at home with Darcy and kind of focusing on all the good things that I had in my life. June, I think, was my biggest career month. I've written here, wowie wowie, a great big month. I'll read you all the things I did. We had Louise Live, which is my live theatre show which tours around various cities in the UK, and hopefully one day I will expand that to like Ireland and America and all sorts of other countries. It was really amazing to see that like my first proper tour sold out. It's incredible to think of that in terms of like, oh, numbers and figures, but then to be on stage, I see the view that no one else sees. I see all of the seats full and all these faces, and most of them were smiling. I mean, some of the mums and dads were like, oh, that was a naughty joke she did. And I got such a buzz from it. I think that Louise Live is like my favourite project I do. It's like the one that I get the biggest kick from and the one that I feel most inspired by. You're so much freer when you're on a stage. You just have this like really like liberating sense of mischief, because you can pretty much say anything and go anywhere with it, and it's a lot of fun. And also you get that feedback from people. Just, you know, give physical and audible feedback is very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to 2016. I've already got quite a few plans for it. Also that month I launched my book, Life with a Sprinkle of Glitter, and we had a huge launch party, and I went on TV and did radio interviews and magazine interviews and newspaper interviews, and I was like swishing around holding my book and feeling like J.K. Rowling, but with much less imagination and talent. I also did the clothing range shoot for my plus size clothing range with Simply Be, and I felt really swishy at that. Like, this was the month that I felt like swish AF. We did the book tour for Life with a Sprinkle of Glitter, which was amazing to meet so many of you. Everyone that came was like super friendly, apart from the one mum in blue water at the front of the queue that got really angry about something and started like swearing and shouting, and then I went to talk to her and she made me cry. So if that's you, one mum, don't like you. Her daughter though, on the other hand, looked really embarrassed and I felt really bad for her. So if you're the daughter of shouty mum, I like you. I'm sorry your mum is shouty mum though. Don't like her much at all. Also, I did the video for Coca-Cola, the Choose Happiness video, and that was like super fun because it was kind of like a very controlled meet and greet. So I like tweeted out, or I put on Facebook, I think 48 hours prior, who wants to be in a video of mine, Abington Park, which is a park like near my house, and so many people came, but it was so calm because we had like loads of security that didn't do anything. They just like stood on the perimeters just in case there was like anything weird happened. Nothing did. And I bought loads and loads of cool toys. I bought hula hoops and bubbles and like those big balloons that you go and they're like those punch balloons. So much cool stuff, and it was like this like huge summer picnic. I got to like go around and talk to everybody and just be really involved. I love things like that. I would love to do more things like that where it's more of a hangout than like a conveyor belt of humans. It was much more civilized. I liked it a lot, and really nice video out of it, and everyone was really great. So thank you for everyone that took part in that. You were great. July was VidCon month, which is always fun. I think like 15,000 people go, like it feels like 1 billion people go, and you see other creators and meet viewers and attend panels and talks and shows and everything. It's really amazing, and I loved that. And I stayed on in LA to collab with some really amazing creators, which I loved. And I think the ones I was most inspired by were the What's Up Moms. Their channel is incredible. Watching it grow brings me so much pleasure, because if anyone deserves it, they do. They work their mummy asses off and they are great. So it was such a pleasure to work with them, and I feel like super inspired after seeing the way they get things done. And I decided to start making a few changes to my own channel, which we'll talk about in a minute. But in August I've put LA, Friends, Sunshine. I had a garden party soiree, which Jack and the gang like to call a barbecue. Just want you to know, it wasn't a barbecue. There was no barbecue food consumed. It was a summer garden party soiree, but they kept saying barbecue because I think it's hilarious. But I'm going to do another one this year and they'll continue to say barbecue, and if you see them say it, you can say it's not a barbecue. Lots of Darcy time. We were outside so much, soaking up the summer, and also it was my dad's birthday, so happy birthday to him, and that was amazing. And I launched my clothing line that month, and so many of you said you loved it and said you felt confident in it. That's what pleased me the most. I liked it when you said it was nice and nicely made and good quality, but I loved when people said that they felt good in themselves, and that's my aim. I love to hear that women love themselves, because we should all love ourselves, which is a whole other video entirely, but made me really happy. And moving on to September, I started to have a little bit of help making these videos. So my second channel, which is Sprinkle of Chatter, I do all that myself, just like hold my little vlog camera and like edit it myself. But these now, I have Katie Snooks, I like to call her Snoozy. She helps set everything up for me and like make sure I'm in focus and just help me along. And then her boyf, he edits the videos for me, so it's a nice little team, and I feel like I can now create better and more interesting content for you on here, and then be a lot more like just casual on Sprinkle of Chatter. So I'm really excited by that. After seeing What's Up Mums had a little team, I just thought, yeah, I'm gonna get a team, I'm gonna like make this a professional slick operation. This year I'm going to work more on bringing more personality into the videos, because I feel like last year I was making better content, but I was focusing so much on trying to make like very slick special content that like a little bit of my personality kind of faded away. So I'm bringing that back. I'm bringing sexy back. Also in September, I conquered my fears of driving on the motorway. I've had my driving licence for about 7 years now, and I never drove on the motorway because I was absolutely terrified of it, and I always had Matt who would just drive me. And then my lovely friend Karen from university got married in the Lake District, and I was like, either I'm going to drive myself here or I'm not going to go to her wedding, and I would not have missed her wedding for the world. So I drove there, and it was it was like 8 hours to drive there because traffic was terrible, but I did it, and now I can drive anywhere, and I feel so much more confident and able and free, and glad I conquered that one. I also saw One Direction play at Chalk Farm Roundhouse, which was lovely, especially now they're on hiatus, and I'm terrified they're going to split up, so at least I got my beady eyes on them. And I had an amazing day with Darcy at Althorpe House, and we saw falcons and ate the best pizza I've ever eaten in my whole life. Like, I still think about how I want to put that back in my mouth. October, baby. October was the month I dyed my hair pink to support the charity Cancer Research UK. We raised almost £30,000. Sprinkleerinos, we smashed it. I did it all in my sweet mummy's name because she died of cancer when I was 7, and I'm really passionate about helping scientists work towards finding cures for cancer. I really liked the videos on my channel that month. We had Acts of Kindness, the Total Pumpkin Fail, and a room tour, which I thought were all really good videos. At the time, filming the pumpkin video was very stressful, and I really thought it was going to be like the crappiest video ever, but now I think it's like one of my favourite videos on the entire channel. There were lots of fun diary events. The one that I loved the absolute most, because I launched a diary, a Sprinkle of Glitter diary, planner sort of thing. Everything's linked below. Also in October was like a crazy month, by the way. I went to New York for BeautyCon, more book tour stuff in New York, and then more book tour stuff back home for the diary. Darcy had her first ever proper haircut, and it was the sweetest thing, and she like had her hair straightened and she felt very swishy, and it was just basically adorable, and my heart burst a bit. I took Dad to the Spectre premiere, the James Bond premiere, and that was very special to him because exactly 50 years prior to that, his dad took him to see his first ever James Bond film, and then 50 years later his daughter took him to a premiere of a James Bond film, so it had a very like poetic cycle to it there, which I enjoyed. The next week I was back in New York City for StreamCon, where I learned where to ride one of those hoverboard things. I also did things like panels and talks, and I did the best ever book signing where essentially I just signed all the books, and then there were still people hanging around. I was like, should we just hang out, because we've got this room for like another hour, like rather than go, let's just hang out. So I did a little what's in my bag and just like chatted to everyone. I think I put perfume on everyone and really got to know everyone. And there were 2 girls, because it was Halloween, who had dressed for Halloween, and one had come dressed as chummy Zoe and one had come dressed as me, and I thought that was basically the greatest thing I'd ever seen. I really bonded with Joe Sugg on that trip. We had a lovely time. Joe has a special place in my heart because he's a good boy through and through, and he's never, how can I put this nicely? I can't. He's never a dick. Joe is never a dick. He's never a diva. He's never a dick. Joe is just great. By this point in the year, I had like done all this work stuff with like a book, a diary, a clothing line, a tour, VidCon, New York, New York, New York, Orlando, Disney, like separating from my husband, learning to live alone, learning to mother alone, and by this point I was getting pretty exhausted. As we moved into November, where I worked with Jack on for a day, I went on set and like was part of his thing that's coming out. I don't really know much about it because I haven't been listening properly, but Jack's doing a thing and he had like a whole team and things, like a proper thing, and I was in it and that was great. I had a really amazing day with my dad in London. I took him to see the Cosmonaut exhibition at the Natural Science Museum. I think it's on till March, so if you could grab a ticket I would go. I went to the Joe and Casper Hit the Road premiere, which was so much fun. It was great just to see everyone and to see all the support, and also I looked around Leicester Square and I just thought, this is what Team Internet is. We always say hashtag Team Internet, but that was like the personification of Team Internet. Everyone was there supporting everyone, and everyone just wanted the best for everyone, and it was just like a real celebration of the creativity that can come out of the internet, and the support that you guys give is what makes that happen. So it was a proud moment. I also saw the prototypes for the clothing range for coming up, because I've got a spring one coming out, and I also made the epic video 3 ways to enjoy hot chocolate, and that's not 3 recipes for hot chocolate, it was just 3 different ways you can drink hot chocolate, which my friends think is absolutely hilarious and the worst video ever. December, done a whole page for December. If you're still watching, right below that I got to December. So I did Vlogmas. Shit me, I actually did it all the way through to Christmas Day. And I think that Vlogmas held me together because Christmas was hard. I'll talk about the good things first. I spent so much lovely time with Darcy, just making memories. I loved ice skating with her, with all the other mums, and I loved all the little bits and bobs we did together and the time we shared. I had a trip to Zoe's, and it was the first time I'd ever driven there myself, so that felt pretty good. And I also had an amazing photo shoot, fantasy photo shoot with Linda Blacker, which if you Google or you follow me on any of my social media, you will have seen, and it was incredible. So, real time talk now. Christmas was so hard. I felt like I was completely blindsided by like a smack in the face of how hard that month was. The Christmas before, Matt and I had like, we were trying and we were spending time together and all that sort of stuff, and then this one we weren't, and I honestly felt like our relationship actually deteriorated a little bit in November and December for various reasons which I'm not going to discuss too much, but it was very hard, and I had got really tired of holding things together. Not like, oh, I can't be bothered, but like mentally and emotionally I was very tired, and I was finding it hard to like keep everything together. The vlogs were so like useful to me because they gave me a focus, to like a happy focus, to force myself to like find the good in a day and do something. Also, throughout a lot of 2015 there was someone in my life that really made a lot of promises to me and made me feel like I was very special to them and very cared about, and in fact loved, I was told. And then despite all my friends and everyone I know saying that that wasn't the case, and I was being led on and I was being treated like maybe a little like dog on a lead, I couldn't see it until December, and then I was like, oh my god, this is all like very vapid, and this is just not what I thought it was, and I am alone, and I'm doing Christmas, and I'm a single mum, and I'm tired, and it was just really hard. It was hard to do all my Christmas traditions. I got really poorly, and I didn't feel well, and I like retracted from all my friends, and I stopped answering calls, and I stopped like Hazel and Jack and everyone coming over, and I didn't really speak to anybody. And I asked Maddie, who's my manager, to cancel like a lot of stuff in my diary, my schedule, like work things. I was just like, I can't do them, I don't want to do them. And really it was tough. I was very fortunate though, because I had my friend Kaylee come and stay. She came over from America in November for a few months, and she stayed with me a lot. And like one night when I was just like really sick, as in like I had like a tummy bug sickness, I was laying on my bathroom floor, and she was the one that like stood there and like gave me flannels and tissues and helped me feel better. And my neighbour is one of my like really dear friends, and she was super supportive. And Maddie was like literally held me together the whole year. Actually, Maddie held me together, but especially in December. And I know that my other friends would have if I'd have let them, but it'd gone a bit weird, and I was like, I don't want to see you or talk to anybody. So the three people that like did like basically like make my Christmas good were Maddie, Kaylee, and my neighbour friend. And also my family were incredible, like my parents and my aunties and all that sort of stuff. But by Christmas I was exhausted just from everything that year. So Darcy and I, on the 28th or 29th of December, hopped on a plane to Seattle to go back to my happy place, which is with Marie, with her family, and to like cozy up with them for a couple of weeks, which is why I've taken a bit of time off from my channel. I don't know if you've noticed, but I kind of just shut the channels down for 2 or 3 weeks so I could just have an actual rest. And it was whilst I was in Seattle that I felt like something clicked and everything started to change. And I will go into that on Thursday's video, when I'm going to talk to you about my plans for 2016 and what I hope to get out of the year, and what I hope to give to you from the year, and the new way that I'm looking at things, and the new sort of like sense of peace that I'm feeling. So I don't know how long this video is. I really don't want it to be edited very much, because I like wanted you to hear all those things, but that was long. But it was a big year. 2015, you were big. You were a big boy. Yes, you were. And I will see you on Thursday. Do subscribe to this channel. I would love to see more of you in 2015. I'm sorry if I had lipstick on my teeth at any point. That is the bane of my life. If you've got like big juicy lips, then it's difficult to keep all that off your teeth. I also have giant teeth too, so alrighty. I hope you have enjoyed this super long video. If you got to the end, comment below and tell me you got to the end, and I will see you all on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Bye.